The month of October is going to be something of a battle royale between some of the gaming industry's most prominent giants. Just 1 week apart from each other, it was going to see the release of Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2 in that order. Now, I say was because as of today, August 30th, 2018, Battlefield 5 has been delayed. The following information comes from an official press release by Electronic Arts, as relayed by website Business Wire. Whereas before, the game was supposed to release on October 19th, 2018, sandwiched between Black Ops and Red Dead, now the game will release a month later on November 20th, 2018. Here's the statement that EA provided. We believe we have got one of the best Battlefield games ever coming in Battlefield 5. Tens of thousands of players have been hands-on with the game so far, and we have been honored to receive Best Multiplayer awards at E3 and Gamescom. We have had valuable feedback from our community, and we're going to take the time to make some final adjustments and deliver a great experience for our fans. We are updating our fiscal year guidance to reflect the updated launch date for Battlefield 5, the ongoing impact of foreign exchange rate changes, and our current outlook for our mobile business. Our core businesses, including FIFA Ultimate Team, are strong. We think our players are going to love Battlefield 5, and excitement is building for our new IP, Anthem. Now, if you've been following me for a while, then you'll know that I have nothing against justified delays. I will choose that a game be delayed to release fully polished over it being rushed as an unrefined mess every single time. As the great Shigeru Miyamoto said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. But here's the thing with Battlefield 5's delay. The reasons that EA provided for the delay are complete and utter bullshit. They claim that it's about giving the game additional time for adjustments, but it really has more to do with recent reports that the title has been woefully underperforming in terms of pre-order numbers. For those who haven't been keeping up with this story, it all began 2 weeks ago back in August 14th, 2018, when Wall Street Journal's Sarah E. Needleman released an excerpt detailing how analysts from firm Cowen have said that pre-orders for Battlefield 5 have been weak, attributing this to how Battlefield 5 was being released under similar circumstances as Titanfall 2, that is sandwiched between two other gaming giants. It was only 6 days later, on August 20th, 2018, that news outlet CNBC released further details about Cohen's analysis, which stated that Battlefield 5 is currently headed for serious commercial disappointment, significantly lagging behind Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, and Assassin's Creed, specifically noting that Battlefield 5 is trailing behind Black Ops 4 by a whopping 85%, far worse than the last 3 entries in the series. Initially, according to CNBC, the game was predicted to sell somewhere between 13 to 14 million copies. But with the latest disappointing figures, the assumption is that these numbers are no longer realistic. This, ladies and gentlemen, is ultimately why EA decided to delay Battlefield 5, to release the game during a less competitive month. Whether EA's strategic delay will go a long way in boosting pre-order sales, however, well, that remains to be seen. Looking at November, it's actually also a fairly busy month, with the likes of Hitman 2, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, Darksiders 3, and Fallout 76 all releasing in that time period. There is no doubt that Battlefield 5's greatest competition that month will be Fallout 76, and it'll be interesting to see how their sales will compare. That is certainly better than releasing sandwiched between Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2 though, and I think it's safe to expect some boost in pre-order numbers, but the question is, will it be enough? After all, Battlefield 5's weak pre-orders may not just be a result of an awkward release schedule, considering the title's been marred with controversy since its announcement. A point of contention has been the game's highly exaggerated, absurd, and some might argue whimsical interpretation of World War II, featuring a crippled British female soldier wielding a prosthetic hook and a spiked cricket bat in the front lines, or a male British soldier wielding a katana, among other bizarre displays. What's abundantly clear is that as far as unrealistic cosmetics go, EA intends to pull all stops, even if it means marring the setting's immersion, no doubt, to sell as much upfront cosmetic microtransactions as possible, which is the alternative to implementing loot boxes in light of the Battlefront 2 controversy. While there are those out there who don't really mind EA and DICE's alternative take on the war, there are quite a few others who just aren't happy at all about it. Now, instead of responding in a reasonable manner, EA took to insulting those with a different opinion, with Patrick Soderlund telling website Gamasutra that dissenting people are uneducated, and by challenging them to either accept Battlefield 5 for what it is or don't buy it. While it's hard to say for sure how much the widespread distaste against Battlefield 5's interpretation of World War II and EA's poor response to Backlash contributed to current disappointing sales, if you ask me, it would be naive to say that these factors had no influence whatsoever, or to say that it has only to do with an awkward release timing. I get that many will look back at how Titanfall 2 suffered a similar fate because it was sandwiched between Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1, but Titanfall is still a smaller franchise that's still getting its bearing, whereas Battlefield is one of the biggest video game franchises in the world, so even during a busy month, it should be able to hold its own. But a disparity of 85% compared to Black Ops 4? Yeah, that's unprecedented, even for Battlefield, even for a densely packed time frame of major releases. It's worth keeping in mind, however, that according to website VentureBeat, which has reached out to retail sources, while Battlefield 5 is not living up to estimates, it's still doing fine and is already outperforming Titanfall 2 by a significant margin, though granted that's not saying much. The website also noted that according to one major distributor, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only major title releasing in October that's been meeting pre-order expectations, with Black Ops 4 also facing weaker than expected pre-release performance as well. Red Dead Redemption 2 leading the charge should come as no surprise. It's the first major Rockstar release in years, it's the follow-up to one of the best games last generation, the game looks utterly incredible at a glance, and buzz surrounding the game has been nothing short of widespread and positive. Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5, on the other hand, are entries in the tired annual release format, and both titles have been marred with criticism regarding some of their choices and direction. But even then, it would seem as though Battlefield 5 isn't going to crash and burn by any means. It will still sell a couple million copies. It's just going to make significantly less money than EA would want. Given EA's ridiculous metric for what constitutes success, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they deem even decent sales of a few million copies a failure. Remember back when Mass Effect Andromeda sold a few million copies and even made the publisher some money despite its PR disaster, and EA still decided to axe its DLC sequels in the studio that developed it? Remember when EA set sales expectations for Dead Space 3 so high and over-budgeted it so much that they set the game and the now defunct Visceral up for failure? The thing is though, even if Battlefield 5 falls short, so long as EA still have their precious FIFA Ultimate Team card packs, which rake in hundreds of millions of dollars annually, the publisher will be just fine and they'll continue raking in boatloads of cash. However, a significant portion of EA's investors and stockholders don't seem to share in the publisher's confidence, as noted by how shortly after the announcement of a delay, EA's shares plunged by a whopping 8% according to CNBC. Checking EA stocks myself as of the making of this video, that number seems to have increased to almost 10%. The market's reaction was bad enough that the company's expected net bookings for fiscal year 2019 have been lowered from $5.55 billion to $5.2 billion. Boo fucking who. Honestly, it's a minor setback in the grand scheme of things, especially given we have seen EA stocks plunge only to get right back up. But confining things to just the Battlefield 5 situation, yeah, outlook on the game isn't looking too good. Public reception and general vibe around this game has been largely negative, early sales numbers are looking pretty rough, and investors are concerned about the game's prospects. Now, I personally don't mind that the game will be delayed a month. It will give developers more time to polish the game regardless of the reason behind the delay, and from a business standpoint, it's definitely a smart idea to steer clear of the likes of Red Dead Redemption 2. But from everything that I've seen, I feel like Battlefield 5's problems stem deeper than its release window. From what I've seen, word of mouth has reflected that compared to Battlefield 1 and even entries before that, people just aren't as interested in Battlefield 5 or flat out don't like what the game represents. And you know what they say, there is no better marketing than word of mouth. When all everyone's seemingly talking about is how your game will sell poorly or how it's left the gaming community divided. Well, it's hard to expect that a strategic delay will do that much good. I suppose we'll have to wait and see what happens though. After all, pre-order numbers, while good indicators, are hardly definitive proof of a game's lifetime sales potential. Though as far as early signs go, yeah, not good and far below expectations. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content and would like to support this channel directly, consider donating on Patreon. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.